Extinction Level Event 2, The Wrath of God, dropped 3 weeks ago and is a result of over 9 years of work by a man who has sold over 9 million records. Busta Rhymes has amassed a lot of respect in the rap game for his excellent features, singles, and imaginative videos, but his albums have been inconsistent. He also has made music that, while popular, hasn't had a tremendous amount of meaning or substance. Was he able to address these issues with the new album? Or is it just more of the same? Let's find out with a complete track-by-track breakdown of this 22-track, 78-minute long new album. Tracks 1 and 6. I grouped these two together because I think they could have been combined into one, and both make the same mistake of burying some very strong bars after a long amount of intro. It's possible that many people will miss Rakim and Busta's verses here because some people will skip past these tracks when the music doesn't start right away. This album is long and could have been streamlined, and being more efficient with the intros would have been a great start. Busta Rhymes put a lot of honest hard work and effort into this album, and it shows in its undeniable overall quality. However, there is some bloat as well, and paring down these two tracks would probably help on that. It's important to realize that this album was released during a scarier time than the first ELE, because this time it's not about less tangible threats like the Y2K bug, which thankfully didn't amount to much outside of unwarranted fear. Today we have very credible threats to our civilization in the forms of climate change, a global pandemic, systemic racism, and a naked threat to our democracy and way of life from our own government and domestic terrorists. The background for track 1 features a fresh recording of the famous Nas piano loop from his classic, The World Is Yours, and it sounds beautiful. It ends with Busta Rhymes speaking out against racist oppression. On my Busta Rhymes Top 20 Songs So Far video, which you'll find a link to in the description here, I mentioned that Busta is more known for his mainstream hits, which usually don't feature any deep messages. So I was happy to hear the social commentary because it adds extra gravity to his always stellar work. Track 2, The Purge. That gravitas continues into the next track, which is one of the darkest tracks I've ever heard from Busta. He seems to be deeply inspired by the events going on in this country. It's only 1 minute long, so it's more like an interstitial, but it's powerful and furthers the tone that the previous intro track led off with. Strap Yourself Down is the first full-length song. Busta Rhymes has never sounded so gravelly as he does here, but the production, which is credited to Pete Rock and posthumously to Jay Dilla, shifts the vocals from gruff and raw to clean and polished, to the point that I wasn't sure that it was Busta the whole time. This song has a real experimental feel, with how it bounces from the stripped down on the main bars to the crispy clean production on the ad-libs. I really like the creativity here. Busta is giving us something that we weren't expecting, and it works. Czar starts off with Chris Rock hyping it up. I reacted to this video the day that it came out, but I like the song a lot better now that I've heard it without the video because the long intro and the break in the middle hurt the momentum of the song. The same thing happened on the video for Lemon by Conway. They both used the technique of messing with the audio of the song with interludes and sound effects so that you either download or stream the song rather than just watching it on YouTube. Without those disturbances in continuity, Czar is a classic Busta-style single. Simple, catchy, hardcore, and efficient. And the video shows the same visual creativity that put him on the map in the first place. Gotta love that entrance holding onto the shark. Out of My Mind benefited from the fact that I took 3 weeks to review this album, because initially I wasn't that into it. First of all, I hate it when an artist is credited as a feature, but only appears in it via sample, with no original content made. To be clear, Bell Biv DeVoe are not on this song. They just got full rights to their hit Poison and manipulated it to make both the beat and the hook. I don't know why artists do this, whether they are trying to sell records by listing them as a feature, or that they are required to list them as a feature as part of the licensing agreement for the sample. All I know is that it's always disappointing when the actual artists aren't there to do anything new. Once I got over that, I have to admit that it's a great sample, and it makes for a really hard beat. I just feel like they could have been a bit more inventive and skillful with it. The song is good, but almost too intense. The hook is meant to ameliorate that, but it feels a little incongruous and patched together. Some people might enjoy this track, and I can understand why, But I just felt frustrated because it feels more like a missed opportunity to me due to the lack of finesse shown with the great material that they had to work with. Track number 7, Slow Flow, is another rough one for me. I have a strong aversion to reusing tracks from artists that have passed away and then calling it a feature. If it's material that hasn't been released before, that's not as bad, but if I already know the verses and it's been in a better song, it just feels like a cash grab. ODB was a unique and beloved talent, but it doesn't improve his legacy for his rhymes to be repackaged in weak cash grabs like this. I'm also offended when people appear to think that they can put together some wacky, asymmetrical, insane beat with an ODB acapella and you have an ODB style song. You don't. ODB rapped over some crazy beats and he had an offbeat style, but there was a real art to producing him and having it sound good. That's why two of the best producers in the game, the RZA and Pharrell, had to be behind the boards for the bulk of his hits. He may have sounded crazy and haphazard, but there was a lot of thought that went into honing that style in order to make it not only palatable, but pleasurable to listen to. They could have cut this one from the album, and it would have been addition by subtraction. Alright, so if I've had a lot of criticisms about the tracks up to this point, why am I saying that this is my clear album of the year for 2020? Because the album really jumps in quality starting now. From track 8 straight through to track 21, you'll hear some of the best tracks of the year. Songs which vault Busta Rhymes from a talented and highly respected rapper to Hall of Fame status. I feel like it was dangerous for Busta to have the album really just start here, because some people don't listen to the whole album, but that's why I'm here, to make sure that this incredible work doesn't get overlooked. Don't Go features Q-Tip and is produced by Aftermath producer Focus. It's a chill and reflective walk down memory lane with two MCs who have collaborated successfully countless times in the past. It feels like a goodbye, but after hearing this and the rest of the album, you'll be saying Don't Go, just like how he says it on the hook. The tangible quality of this song makes it one that you'll like right away, and it won't fade. And then it's followed by another standout track, track number 9, Boomp. This one surprised me. I wasn't expecting much based on the title, but boy do I love this song. Busta has a swift and playful flow, the beat makes it a creeper, and I love the organ hits. I was positive that was 50 Cent on the backing tracks of this hook. It sounds like a 50 Cent song, it's totally his style from when he was at his absolute height. So I went straight to the Genius page to see if that was 50, and even though it said no, I still don't believe it. The producer here is DJ Scratch, which makes sense because he's one of my favorite DJs of all time, and is one of the reasons I love EPMD's work as much as I do. I think both him and DJ Premier, who produces the next track on this album, have incredible ears for what makes hip-hop beats great. This song wastes no time, flows perfectly, and sounds amazing. This is my second favorite track on the album. I'll show you an ordered list at the end. As I said, we go from one legendary DJ/producer to another on this next track, which is True Indeed, and that's produced by DJ Premier. This was his first collaboration with Busta Rhymes, and it was one of the earlier songs made for this album. When they talk about how this album was over 9 years in the making, it seems like the process was that Busta collabed with a bunch of upper-tier artists over a long period of time, and one by one, stashed an arsenal of songs and then waited for the right time to deploy them. That's how he was able to get such a star-studded lineup of features and producers. He took his time and slowly amassed a treasure trove of hits. DJ Premier has been prolific lately, working with Public Enemy, A$AP Ferg, The 4 Owls, and Run the Jewels, among others. He always comes correct. This song doesn't sound dated because his style is timeless, even though this song is close to 10 years old. It's less than 2 minutes long, so it's what I call a stream cutter. I wish it had been developed further, but it's solid enough to work as a long intro. Master Fard Muhammad is the next full track, and it has a smooth, laid-back, jazzy beat. It features Rick Ross, and is named after the founder of the Nation of Islam, a man who influenced Malcolm X and Elijah Muhammad. It's an interesting blend of luxury rap and historical knowledge, and feels like a victory lap for both men. Rick Ross's bars are very strong, but Busta's are impeccable.
This shit I said that's come to pass, now they calling me Prophet Lord. Special how I touch the people when I'm speaking. So precious like a moment of watching a baby sleeping. Infectious like opponents that's always catching a beating. Through journeys that I travel and missions I be completing. Put the mic down and leave it with mama for safekeeping.
This is a winner. The video features a slightly different mix and instrumentation than the album version, but both sound really good. It had over 3 million views over the first 3 weeks of its release. Another winner comes right after that. It's You, and features Anderson .Paak. This is another slow and chilled beat, but this one has more of a futuristic sound. This is what I call an end of the night jam, perfect for drinking, smoking, and chilling, with heavy effects on the vocal in the hook. The heavy bass synth almost feels too slow, but it still works well. The video was released 6 weeks before the full album, and has a sharp visual style that was clearly inspired by the old Spy vs. Spy cartoons from Mad Magazine. Paak's rapping flow reminds me of Jid, and his production on this track is insanely good. Busta with his rapid-fire rhymes over a slow beat fit perfect. I straight up love this song. The string of hits continues with Oh No. I'm guessing that this and You were made recently because they both sound modern. Dreddy is on the production, making it sound fresh and current. Waka Flocka Flame assists on the hook, but they don't list him as a feature. The thing that makes this a banger is Busta's herky-jerky flow through the bars. It sounds incredible and showcases how versatile Busta Rhymes is. Sometimes he rhymes slow, sometimes he rhymes quick, but whatever style he takes on, and he seems to cover them all throughout this album, including Caribbean on the next track, he executes them all exceptionally well. This is a song that I won't let people overlook because I think it's a superb creeper. The Don and the Boss features Vybz Kartel, who somehow hasn't let the fact that he's serving a 35-year-long prison sentence for murder shut down his output. I searched on the web for info on how he's still able to make new music despite the fact that he's locked up, but I couldn't find anything. So if anybody out there has answers, please put them in the comments section. This is a great track for both dance halls and strip clubs, as the official video suggests. This isn't Busta's first successful foray into dancehall style rap. He sounded amazing on #TwerkIt with Nicki Minaj back in 2013, and he sounds great here too. The accent comes off gruff and authentic. So that's another strong weapon in his arsenal.